لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله.
At this point, this will be our final concluding session, and I'd like to introduce Brother Baba Ali. He says to call him Abi, but we all know him from his YouTube videos. He first started his activism in board games with the two board games, Kedimat and Mecca to Medina. He was recognized by New York Times. His videos have over 1 million views on YouTube. And I know growing up myself that even if he was saying the same things that my father was saying, it seemed a lot cooler when he said it. And so we really appreciate him and thank him for all the guidance and help that he has given us growing up. So I'd like to invite Brother Baba Ali.
Assalamu alaikum. So, alhamdulillah, I keep coming back to Dallas. You guys keep inviting me, so it looks like you guys like me. Okay, let's try assalamu alaikum with this one. Is the FBI taking my picture or just normal picture? Okay, I'm just joking. So, Baba Ali, sometimes I come to events and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Tonight I have a good idea of what I'm going to do. I mean, we have the Muslim personality, something that has never been here done in Dallas before. It's actually the third time ever I'm ever doing it. I'll get to that in a minute, inshallah. But a lot of people, they often ask me, Ali, what inspired you to make your videos? And for those who don't know, I sit in my daughter's room. And within my daughter's room, there's this little white space that I actually film the videos. Because if you take the camera and you turn it, you'll see her kid's kitchen. Then you see the beds on that side, and right there in the middle is a little white space, and I sit in a chair, and I sit there and I talk, and I record like the camera's recording me right now, and it reaches the entire world. Now, I had no idea 11 million video views, and as a brother said, New York Times, USA Today, LA Times, name it. Even people I see, stars on television that used to watch their sitcoms, they're emailing me saying, I watch your videos. It's just very, very strange. And people say, did you know that you would become this popular? And I say, if I knew I was going to become this, my videos would become this popular, I would have dressed nicer. For those who watch my videos, I'm usually dressed when it looks like my sleeping clothes, because those are my sleeping clothes. And the reason I've been so tired of my videos is because I'm really recording them past midnight. Because, a lot of times speakers come and they speak and they talk, and some of the sisters know it's sometimes at the expense of your own wife and kids. So when I made my videos, I said, I don't want to do this at their expense. I'll do it at the expense of my own sleep. So I recorded them at night when my wife and kids were sleeping, and then when they woke up, the videos were already on YouTube, alhamdulillah. So, the thing I don't discuss too often, which tonight I'll share with you guys, is what inspired me to turn on the camera for the first time, press the record button, and record. Because Baba Ali, I'm not a comedian. I'm not a public speaker. So what inspired you? Because I sat where you sat. And I was Muslim, I'm a Muslim convert, but I sat there for nearly 11 years. One khutbah after another khutbah, after another conference, and eventually I said, I can't take this anymore. Because there's so much stuff happening just in Jummah. My first video was actually about Jummah. And there's so much stuff happening in Jummah that everyone sees it, but no one's talking about it. Now, I'll give you some things that happens in my Jummah. We have, I think every masjid has one, but we have something called the Salam Brother. Does anyone have the Salam Brother? This is a person who comes into Jummah and says Salam Alaikum to everyone during the khutbah. Assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum. Where are you guys? The khutbah's going on, but he's saying salam to everybody. Certain things is not allowed, it's actually haram to do when it's halal to do any other time. You can't drink, you can't eat, you can't even say salam alaikum. You're supposed to, you and khatib, that's it. But the Salam Brother. Then you have the second thing that's going on, and every masjid has this, I know for sure. Hopefully this masjid has less than we do. But we have people called the sleeping people, okay? The sleeping people is amazing because Jummah starts at 1:15. 7 minutes later, this guy's sleeping. What's amazing is the guy is not leaning against anything. His stomach is not full because he hasn't eaten anything like we ate tonight. And the khatib is looking directly at him, and he's like this. And the guy next to him was like this. And I'm like this. No one sees this? You know, one thing the speakers never tell you, and I see it, and many of the speakers know, when we're looking at you, we can actually see you guys. So if you guys are sleeping, I can tell who's sleeping. And even though the person is sleeping right there, every time I turn around, I still see the sleeping brother. I do. Every event I go to, there's always that one brother that does not want to be at my event. One brother. His wife dragged him and said, "You're coming to the event. I don't want to go. Come to the event. I don't want to go." And he's just like this. And you can tell that he doesn't want to be here. And his wife's having a good time and he's like this. And my problem is, I don't see anyone when I see him. Because I try not to look at him, but I see him all the time. Every time I turn around doing eye contact, all I see is the brother. So I'm pretty sure the khatib sees it, but he can't say anything. So what happens next? Next comes the khutbahs. This is what really inspired me to start my videos. Now there's different types of khutbah stuff that happens. One is called the reading khutbah. The reading khutbah is when the brother prints up the khutbah and comes and reads it to us, which is fine, as long as he's read it before. You know, brothers, the audience, everyone in the Jummah knows that you haven't read it when you're Assalamu alaikum. We should not... Come on, brother, please. And mashallah, you find the most monotone person to read the khutbah. Islam is the most exciting religion in the world. Next, the irrelevant khutbah. The irrelevant khutbah, this actually happened in my local area. And I made a video about it because I got so inspired because I said no one's going to believe this. Of all the topics you can talk about in the entire world, the khatib decided to talk about the goat that you find dead on the road, and that the one that we should not eat is the goat that you find dead on the road. Now I live in Los Angeles, and I've never seen a goat on the road. On top of that, I've never asked my friends when we're driving, "Hey, there's a goat on the road, let's take it home and cook it." On top of that, it's never happened like, "Hey, I come home, my friends are cooking. What are you doing?" "We're cooking goat." "Really? Where'd you get it from?" "The side of the road." No! Remember the khutbah? We can't eat the goat on the side of the road? But that's not the most confusing khutbah. The most confusing khutbah for me when I was going through Jummah was the khutbah that didn't have a point. And this brother is like freestyling it. And you can tell the brother's freestyling because this is how the khutbah went. Goes something like this. You know, Islam... By the way, he doesn't say anything bad. Everything sounds good because... I asked the brother, when we left Jummah, I said, "How was the khutbah?" He said, "The khutbah was amazing." I said, "What was the khutbah about?" I said, "I have no idea." So there's nothing wrong with the khutbah. There's no point. Okay, I'll give you an example. You know, Islam is good, not bad. Huh? And what rhymes with bad? Mad. And what do we do when we're mad? We lie down, we make the wudu, right? And we wake it with what? With water. Huh? And can we drink this water? No. No. Can we drink this water while we're fasting? No. Why can't you drink water while you're fasting? Because you're fasting. And what happens when we fast? We break our fast. We eat too fast. We drink too fast. Huh? And what happens when you eat and drink too fast? Your stomach gets full. Huh? You have no more air. You pray next to me and you do and you go. Do you know who smells them? I do. Not good? Like, what? What was the khutbah about? Brother, he talked about Islam was good, it's not bad. He talked about fasting. He talked about making wudu. I was like, what? And then it was so confusing for me. So sometimes the khutbah was good. Sometimes the khutbah would be bad. Sometimes the khutbah, subhanAllah, you get, subhanAllah, I'll tell this brother, the khatib has a khutbah already in his mind. And the khatib will come and maybe he could say something along the lines of, the khutbah is going to be about people being late for Jummah. But he's already late for Jummah. It doesn't look very good. And then he comes late, and at the very beginning, everyone's looking at the khatib when he's speaking. And there's a sign in our Jummah that says, khutbah ends at 1:30. Everybody sees the sign except for the khatib. For whatever reason, we posted the sign behind the khatib, behind the member, which I don't understand that. So we have a clock as well at our Jummah. So everyone's looking at the khatib and looking at the clock. Look at the khatib, look at the clock. After a while, they look at the clock, they look at the khatib, then back to the clock again. Then when it gets to about 1:30, they're only looking at the clock. Then the khatib says this is very important. So he talks and talks, and it becomes 1:40, 1:45. People are getting nervous. And then it ends the khutbah, and it says, okay, time for salah. You start praying, and you say, okay, it's time for salah. He went over most likely to pray 2 short surahs so we can go home. No. He's praying the 2 longest surahs he knows. Now we're at 1:55. You know you're getting late for work. As soon as you get up to go, you can't cross people because people are praying. Some people, they pray with their eyes prostrating down. Some people pray with their hands here. Some people pray with their hands here. Some people pray with their hands down. And sometimes when you're praying with your hands down, and you're not looking down, I can't tell if you're praying or not. I'm trying to cross the barrier to see if I should cross you or not, because I can't tell you're praying because you're looking directly at me. And I'm serious, and I want to take a step. And he's like, Allahu Akbar, and he's still looking at me. Now, I finally crossed everybody. I get to the very end, and there's a bottleneck. For whatever reasons, our masjid has a little door, and it has a humongous, large audience with a little door in the corner. Fire hazard, big fire hazard. It's okay. But you can't get out. Everyone's just stuck. What's going on? What's going on? The last guy who decided to come and double park, who decided to block everybody, decides to pray all 16 rakats of everything he missed an entire week right in front of the door. So everyone's late. You go home and you start thinking to yourself, is this just me, or is it normal, or is it what's going on? And this was just Jummah. And there's so many other issues happening within our Muslim Ummah. So I came home, recorded the video, and I posted it up on YouTube. And I didn't talk about all these subjects, I talked about just a few of the subjects. And the videos quickly became, by the time I got to the 3rd video, I had 3,000 views. And by the time I made my 6th video, I had 30,000 views. But by the time I got to the 10th video, it had 130,000 views. Then I made a couple more videos, like 14, about 3 more videos, and I got to 1 million views, and now, as I said earlier, 11 million views. And I told my wife before I made these videos, I said to Muslim Ummah, I think they're going to hate me. Because I'm going to talk about all these issues that a lot of people are not talking about, that I wish people spoke about. Sometimes, one time I was invited to go give a talk, and we have something called the Speaker's Lounge. We even have a Speaker's Lounge here. And they were all big chefs with these big beards, big stoves, and I actually felt it was kind of like, because they asked me, Brother Ali, they asked you to come sit down with them, they want to talk to you. I'm like, oh no, am I in trouble? Did I say something? Wait a second, I haven't even spoke yet, how can I be in trouble? And then finally, I sat down and I said, Brother, we want to talk to you about marriage. I'm like, I'm already married. No. Do you have any marriage tips? Other you guys are chefs, what are you asking me? But because I make these videos and I make this project called Half Our Deen where I help people get married, they're asking about marriage stuff. So they ask me all these marriage questions, I answer them. And at the very end, I said, you know what, I never had a room full of shifts that I want to ask a question to, and I want to ask you guys one question. How come there's so many topics, but in Juma we circulate around just these similar topics and we never go beyond those topics? And everyone was quiet. And one of the younger chefs actually said, you want to know why? Because if you say certain thing, you may get labeled. And you don't want to get labeled, and etc., etc. There's a lot of politics involved. It's not as easy as you think it is. But, Baba Ali, you can. So when you go home and you make the videos, you find issues within the Muslim Ummah. If some of us can't speak about it, this is your opportunity that you can speak about it. And I told myself, I don't care about video views. Video views are not going to get me to Jannah. Being in the New York Times, all these newspapers, and being popular or famous, whatever, that's not going to get me to Jannah. That's not going to get anything, zero on the day of judgment. So I have to do something and I have to do the hardest thing of all. And I told myself from day one, I'm going to speak the truth, and I'm going to do the best that I can, inshallah. And the biggest trial of all that happened is when I got the microphone and they put me on stage. Because this is a trial that many of us don't have to go through, but this table and that table and this thing will have to go through, because when you're a speaker, you have shaitan one ear, you have the people in the other ear, and it's very, very difficult sometimes. And speakers know what I'm talking about. You have to keep yourself humble. You have to remind yourself that you're doing it for the sake of Allah and not for the sake of the people. It's very, very, very difficult trial. Probably the most difficult trial I've gone through since I've been Muslim. Nevertheless, we continue speaking. Alhamdulillah, we have among very, very good speakers. Alhamdulillah, it's an honor to be here. So, anyways, I've been going from one city to another city. As I went to these cities, subhanAllah, I saw some real interesting people and real interesting issues and whatever. I make a lot of video topics, and some of my videos are controversial. One of the videos I did recently called "Some Religious People Aren't Very Religious," and the topic about this was we were praying. We went to Islam, and we were in the area of Chicago. And we weren't actually at Islam, we were nearby, we went to one of the local massages over there. And me and some brothers went to go pray. This was before I was Baba Ali. And so no one recognized who I was. And we had very, very knowledgeable brothers with us. And we saw the people already prayed Maghrib. And we said, okay, let's pray, their Jama'ah's over, so let's pray our own Jama'ah. And the group got together, and one brother starts reading the Avam, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, one brother, two brothers walk in. Can we join you guys? We said, sure. He said, I'm probably more knowledgeable than any of you, so please step out of the way. I was like, what? And I was like, wow. This is amazing. So 13 years later, I made a video about it. I didn't forget. So what happened was, what I learned about this was that, you know, it wasn't shaitan, he did not lack knowledge. And he was communicating with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so it's not he doesn't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But he thought he was better than Adam. So if we think we are better than the next person now because now we're practicing, then we are not better than the next person. We're not even religious at all. This is not the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is the sunnah of shaitan. When we humble ourselves and become normal like everybody else, that's what makes us, alhamdulillah, good Muslims. Anyways, I go from event to event to event, and I saw marriage was a very hot topic. I started a project called Half Our Deen. That launched that in 2010. Since then, we've helped 243 people get married. And alhamdulillah. And after that, thank you for the water. Can I share you, every time I get a bottle of water, I like to share my story. And please excuse for those who've already heard my story, I like to share the story. May I share my water bottle story with you guys? I have water bottles a little bit bigger than this that I drink water at work. There's a smart water bottle, it's about twice as big as this. After I drink with them at work, I drink them and I put them under my desk. And my coworker who works with me says, Ali, I recycle water bottles, can I recycle those? And I'm like, because I use those for the bathroom. I don't tell her I use those for the bathroom. Low tide, for those who don't know what I'm talking about. Oh! So, I use those for the bathroom. I said, no, it's okay, I'm already recycling them. That's all I said to her. During Ramadan, she asked me if they had carrot cake because someone's birthday or something at work. And they asked, Ali, would you like some carrot cake? I said, no, it's okay. So why? I said, because I'm fasting. So what does that mean? I said, I don't eat. I said, for how long? I said, for 30 days. I said, what? And he says, well, can you drink some water? I said, no. For how long? I said, for 30 days. No! And I'm like, no, you're going to die. I said, no, we drink at night. No, you're going to get sick. I said, we've been doing it for 1,400 years. We figured it out. No one gets sick. We're good. No one dies. Alhamdulillah. She said, you sure you don't get drinking water when you get really, really thirsty and you play basketball? I don't drink water. We do it. Okay. That's it. Just want to make sure I don't drink water. So during Ramadan, I actually took one of the water bottles and I went into the kitchen sink and started filling it up with water. Then I went to go to the bathroom. And the girl walks into the kitchen because we can't do it in the bathroom in the thing because it's too shallow. She walks into the kitchen and sees me filling up my water bottle during Ramadan. She walks in and goes, hey Ali, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. She's like, I thought you can't drink water during Ramadan. I'm like, it's not for drinking. This really happened. So she's like, then what is it for? I'm like, I don't want to talk about it, I gotta go. I took the water bottle, whatever was filled up so far, I don't want to discuss. I went to the bathroom, I used the water bottle, I sat back at my desk and I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to explain this to this girl that works with me? And we all work in cubicles and there's people among us. I can't explain this out loud, it's not something graphical you want to explain in the workplace. And this wasn't the way I was envisioning to explain Islam to my co-workers. But nevertheless, I said, let me type up an email and explain everything that happens with me in the water bottle in the bathroom. I put an email format, I emailed it to her. Since then, she never asked to recycle any of the water bottles again. That's the truth. Sometimes she asks, hey, I know you do these shows on the weekend. Do you ever talk about me? Yeah, I do. What do you say? I'd rather not talk about it. Anyways, I travel from city to city and I see different things. And one thing I've noticed from city to city that I saw was the marriage thing, and I started a project to help people get married. After that, I saw something else very unique. I saw Muslims, we have a hard time sometimes getting along with other Muslims. It's amazing. I went to Redmond, Washington, and there was a masjid right next to another masjid. There was another city. There is a masjid, then there's another masjid, and there's a fence in between them. The only difference is an actual fence. And there's two different masjids. So when the speaker comes, no, not the first one, the second one. Don't do the second one. So it's very confusing sometimes. And I think to myself, what happened? Sometimes I think we don't see eye to eye. Sometimes people have one vision, we have another vision, and we can't work together. Even within our own Muslim community, sometimes we have a tough time working together. And I say, why? Well, because we don't understand different personalities. Look at Abu Bakr. He had one very unique personality, mashallah. But then you see Omar, he almost had the exact opposite personality. But yet, side by side, they worked together. When Abu Bakr was Khalifa, who was right there on his side? Omar was, supporting him, even though the personalities were quite different. So how come today we can't understand each other? Because this is one of the topics that we never discuss. These are all completely undisclosed. I was invited to go speak at one city and they said, brother, can you prepare a small speech for us? I said, sure. They said, what's the age group? He said, Muslim youth, adults, just younger people. And can you do it for 1 hour? I said, sure, okay, I'll organize this 1 hour. So I organized my whole talk. I traveled all the way to their cities. I got to the auditorium for the talk, and there was about 260 people in the audience. Of the 260 people in the audience, there were only 4 adults. The average age was 9 years old. This is how I started. Assalamu alaikum, buddy, how's everyone doing? As soon as I said that, one kid raised his hand in the front row. And people don't usually raise their hand when they're speaking, But when you have 260 small children, you never know what to expect. So the child puts his hand, I'm like, yes? He said, I don't think you're funny. He crossed his arms and sat down. I'm like, I haven't said anything. I still don't think you're funny. And in my mind, I prepared a talk for 12, 13, 14, 15. This is what I thought was Muslim youth. I didn't think 7 years old was Muslim youth for the talk. So I didn't know what to do. I tried to be serious, it wasn't working. So then I started talking about poo-poo and pee-pee and cleaning the bathrooms and everything else, and all the kids are laughing, they're having a great time, and I was like, okay. That event finished. At night, I went to the organizer and said, what happened? I said, this is Muslim youth. I said, sorry, those were the younger people, the older people will be in the afternoon. Okay, so I said, this was the young, the 14, 15, 16-year-old will be in the afternoon. No. Everyone at the event was about 55 years old. I asked how many people have seen my videos, I think no one raised their hand. I kept speaking, the guy kept doing this. Yeah, you guys can start writing, please. Your strengths, your weaknesses. Each group writing. We're going to give you guys about 5 minutes, inshallah, then we'll read a book. So the next, I went to another event. And this event was pretty interesting. This event, they said, brother, this sister invited me to come give a talk, and the hall, I think, was bigger than here. It seated about a lot of people, a lot. This is something you hold for huge weddings. And I get to the event, and I came with 2 of my friends, because they were from that same state. And we sat down, and the sister said, Brother Ali, she had a pad of paper in her hands. Can you put in your program how long you'll be speaking tonight? What you'll be speaking about? I said, yeah, I have a pretty good idea. Brother, do you know how long you can speak? Can you do 3 hours? You know, of course I'm laughing because I think this is a joke. I'm like, 3 hours? So yes, 3 hours. I said, no. No matter how good a speaker you are, there's only a certain limit you can talk before it gets boring. No, Moisha, we like your videos. You can do all of the videos. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. Sometimes, there is no script. I just sometimes just talking. I don't memorize everything. No, brother, you're being humble. I'm not being humble. I really can't do this. So she wouldn't accept no for an answer. So I look at my friends and I'm like, hey guys, guess who's going to perform with me tonight? Both of you. You think I'm joking? I told him, what? You know Nasheeds, right? Yeah, kind of a long time ago. You're doing Nasheeds. You are a spoken word artist tonight. And then these guys went up. And I said, I will talk as long as I can. Then I'll sit down. The next person talk as long as they can. They sit down. And then we did this for 3 hours. I don't remember anything I said. But the same sister invited me back again. She said, Ali, it went really well. Oh, let me finish. Oh, this was the best part of the whole thing. The entire audience was nobody. This was a private event for the sister and her friends, which I learned when I got there. And the sister and her friends sat in the last table in the corner, and they said, brother, can you stand on stage and speak to the audience, even though there's no one here, and we're just going to watch from the corner. And I did that, and the person who basically watched me was myself, and the guy who was a non-person in the back, administrator for the microphones and stuff. But it got worse. Oh, it gets worse. I got invited one time to a city outside of this country. They said it would be funny if we put Baba Ali in a carnival. You know what would be funny, Ali? We have all these games in the carnival, and we'll put you on stage in a little box, and then you just talk. Again, I learned about this when I got there, so I tried. So I'm talking, but no one's listening to me. And everyone's just walking by. I don't think they even knew I was there. But it gets worse. Then there was this wedding. The brother said, Ali, you have to come to our wedding and talk. I said, brother, I can't do weddings. People are eating. It doesn't work well. No, brother, you have to come to my wedding. You know me for 15 years, even before you, Baba Ali. Please, this is the one request I asked. Okay, I'll try it. So I stood on stage, and this wedding was the business wedding. You ever seen a wedding that everyone's like this? They're not there to have a good time. It's like a business meeting. And what happened was the brother introduced everybody and said, I'd like to introduce Dr. So-and-so, introduce Dr. So-and-so, introduce, there was 12, I think, doctors before me that were introduced. And each doctor stood up and then we applauded for the doctors. And then I stood up on stage and said, if all the doctors are here, who's at the hospital? They actually looked at each other and said, who is at the hospital? I'm like, no, this is going to be a long night. As I'm talking, my daughter comes and pulls my pants and she said, Bob, I have to go to the bathroom. No one pulls my daughter, and I think my wife is laughing at me, not with me. And she allows my daughter to stand there and talk to me for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. She's like, Papa, what are you talking about to these people? But it gets worse. And the final event, the worst one of all, I did a tour in the UK. We have one more minute for everybody who's writing. I did a tour in the UK, and the tour in the UK was basically this. They said to do a show in London, London show in Paris. So we went to London. Two sisters walked up to me after the event and said, Monsieur Ali, we are from Paris. You doing show tomorrow? People there do not speak English as good as us. What? I don't understand what you're saying. Oui, what? No, I don't understand what you're saying. Then I kind of did it didn't really sink in. I think they're just being sarcastic. They don't understand English very well. I get to the event and they're like, Monsieur, what are you doing tonight? They don't speak English. I'm like, they don't speak English well? No, they don't speak English. So again, I still think they're being sarcastic. I stand on stage, I'm like, everybody, how's everyone doing? Does anyone understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? The entire audience, 4 people raised their hand. 2 of those were those girls. And I'm like, this is not the sheet. I cannot sing for you. What am I supposed to say? So I grabbed a brother, and I brought him, who spoke English, because I spoke to him before. I brought him on stage, and I'm like, well, the other week I went to this. And the guy went up. Again, silence. His turn. Bonjour, bonjour. I'm like, what? I just made a brand new Baba Ali. I would talk, and everything I said did not sound funny at all, and everything he said sounded hilarious.